1 Corinthians 14. He says, follow after love earnestly. Desire the spirituals. The word gift there is italicized in the KJV, so it's not supposed to be there. They put it there just to, they felt it, just leaving it as the spirituals does not really make it clear. So they brought gifts there, but I think they rather even, jumbled the whole thing up. They should have left it. That desire the spirituals. And the gifts are part of the spirituals. But as soon as you say spiritual gift, you place the whole thing in a particular context. You rob the reader, of other benefits. Because that was not the intention of the writer. His intention was not to say spiritual gifts. He was talking about the spirituals, things that pertain to the spirit. He says, but especially that you may prophesy. 2. For he who speaks in another language or in another tongue or other tongues, he says, speak not to men, but to God. He says, for no one understands, but in the spirit. In the spirit. You see why you shouldn't be bothered about natural men trying to define spiritual things for us? Because they don't understand. Tongue speaking has got to do with in the spirit. Glory to God. The thoughts and the opinions of men do not matter. I said, speaking in tongues has got to do with in the spirit. In the spirit. The purpose of tongues is not to appeal to the natural mind. Sometimes when I remember some of this, fallacies and misconceptions about tongues, and I begin to charge. I said the tongues was not designed for the natural mind. How can a man who doesn't understand the topic explain the topic accurately to you? When you want explanation of something, you don't go to an ignorant person concerning the subject. You go to a person who is an authority in that field. So how can the natural man, one who doesn't understand spiritual things, who doesn't even engage in spiritual things, be the one to tell you about tongues and tell you what you are saying? Are you sure? It's fake. It's gibberish. Tongue speaking is not of God. All sort of stuff. If you speak it, you will go crazy and all that. How can we allow the ignorant to speak wisdom to the wise? No. I would even have had problem with God if he gave us a language that the natural mind could understand. It's base. You get me? It's base. If tongues, with all its potency and what it could do, has to be a language that the natural mind could understand, then it's natural in itself. Because it's out of this world. Because it's not for human beings. Because it's par excellence above the things of men. It even had to be a language that in its utterance itself, it shows that it is not for natural men. So he says, for he who speaks in an unknown tongue speaks not to men. Men are natural, God is spirit. John 4:24. That's why I said it should not make meaning to the natural man because he's natural. It makes meaning to God because he's spirit. As you chart your course, as you speak in tongues, glory to God. What are you doing in the spirit? I've told you, have a time you set aside. You say, I'm setting this time aside to speak in tongues. Apart from that, as you go through your daily activities, speak in tongues. Matai. If you won't go anywhere, you are in the house, you are moving about, maybe you have some chores and stuff you need to do, you are speaking in tongues. Under your breath, you are on WhatsApp, speak in tongues. You're uploading some pictures and videos on your status, speak in tongues. You're on FB, speak in tongues. Glory to God. You're on Instagram, speak in tongues. Whatever you are doing tomorrow, keep speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues. It doesn't matter. You can do what you do in the natural and still be profitable in the spirit. Speak in tongues. Edify yourself. Glory to God.